everyone, it's Zayden, and today I'm going to be reviewing Fangirl by Rowell. Before I get into the review, I just want to say I absolutely love this book. I found it so incredibly relatable. I just found myself identifying with our main character, Kath, so much. The story follows our main character, Kath, who's a freshman in college. Kath, being a hardcore introvert, does not want to have to interact with people. All she wants to do is write fanfiction for her world's equivalent of Harry Potter. But again, it's college, so she kind of has to interact with people. From there, we just start to see how Kath kind of grows throughout all these situations that she's kind of uncomfortable being in. Now, I was gonna do pros and cons, but after reading this book, there aren't enough cons for me to do that. So instead, I'm actually going to take you guys through the plot, characters, and writing. The writing in this book was so funny. I just was laughing the entire time while reading it. It's written in third person limited, and it was so great seeing inside Kat's head. She just had so many snarky one-liners where you'd have a bunch of dialogue, and then you'd have Kat's response to that dialogue, and it was always just so funny. Usually for me, writing can go either way. If the plot and characters are good, I don't mind if the writing is lacking in some way. But the writing was actually propelling the story forward, which I thought was really great. All the characters were written really well, the plot points were written well. Everything about it was great. I never have too much to say about writing. It was great. I had no issues with it. Again, the fact that it made me laugh is something that's really rare, so I appreciated that aspect of it. The thing about the plot was it was more a collection of subplots rather than one overarching plot. We followed Kath and her struggles with friends, with academics, with family. The thing about these plot points was I found that they were all incredibly engaging. I didn't find myself liking one more than the other. The one thing that remained consistent was her fanfiction story, which we did see in between each chapter. For the family subplot, there's just a lot of dynamics there with her mom and her dad, and how she deals with her sister, who is kind of taking a very different path than her. In regards to friends, you saw that she was kind of forced to interact with people, and though initially she didn't, she eventually ended up warming up to a lot of people. What I really liked about the academic subplot was we got to kind of hear this perspective of, is fanfiction real writing? And we did get both sides of it, which I thought was really great. Overall, the plot was good. Every subplot was engaging. I was wanting to know what happened in each one, and I'm really glad that they were all included. Now, moving on to characters, probably the best part about this book. Our main character, Kath, again, so snarky and so witty. You can tell that she's an introvert to the bone. She just does not want to talk to people. She wants to stay at home and read or write fanfiction. And for me, that was pretty relatable. We also saw a lot of personal growth from her. There were so many situations that she wasn't used to, where initially she kind of just shut herself off from them, but then as the story progressed, we got to see her open up and explore different situations. At the beginning of the book, she kept a lot of thoughts to herself, and while this is a very common trait for introverts, we kind of saw her start to veer away from that as the story progressed. She started to open up to people a bit more. She started to say what's on her mind, and though her core nature didn't change, like she's still an introvert through and through, we did see her be able to talk to people a little bit more. And the thing about every other main character in this book is I feel like they all serve as a foil for some aspect of Kat's personality. For Kat's twin sister Ren, I think she really served as a point of contrast for Kat's unwillingness to explore the whole college lifestyle. While Kath wanted nothing to do with human interaction, Ren wanted to party, she wanted to meet guys, she wanted to make friends. She just really embodied the idea of embracing everything college has to offer. And I think it's kind of nice because we got to see both sides to the types of people you would see in college. I really like how Ren had a lot of personal growth as well. You know, she was thrown into that situation where she was partying all the time, but eventually, you know, things would start to change a little bit, and it was very reflective of what you would see with a lot of people entering college. Now, Reagan foiled Kath in that Kath was always unwilling to say what's on her mind, whereas Reagan would just say whatever is on her mind. It didn't really matter what Reagan was thinking, she would vocalize it, whether it comes across as abrasive or even rude. She just wouldn't really care. With that being said, I loved how Reagan tried to bring Kath out of her shell a little bit and would invite her to places. It was just so nice to see someone try to help Kath, even though she didn't really want it a lot of the time. I really enjoyed the dad as well. Though he had his eccentricities, you could see that he is a dad, and he does genuinely care about his daughters. All the supporting characters were great as well. I really enjoyed them. Even if they weren't in the book for too long, they still served their purpose. I didn't feel like there were any unnecessary characters in this book. Now, you guys might be thinking, wait, aren't you missing someone? And yes, Levi. Oh my gosh. We do not deserve Levi in this world. Levi was so pure. I loved him so much. The minute he was introduced, I was like, this person is going to be like my all-time favorite character. I just loved how he was so nice and so kind in every single situation. And he wasn't a pushover. He would still stand up for what he believed in, but he would do it with a smile, and I really, really like that. I'm so over this YA trend of the dark, the brooding, and the mysterious male leads. I'm just kind of sick of it, and Levi was a perfect response to all of that, and I'm so glad he was in this book. I can't get over it. I liked how he had his flaws as well. He wasn't perfect by any means. And we saw that he offset Kath in that Kath would be kind of standoffish with people and not really want to talk about her feelings, whereas Levi would be a little bit more open. I just love Levi so much. He's so awesome. I love him. He's great. We don't deserve him. I just really like how he embraced Kath for who she was. He acknowledged her perfect imperfections, and he just still would constantly stick by her, and he didn't try and change her. He liked her for exactly who she was, and that was just so nice to see. So yeah guys, that's it for my non-spoilery section. I give this book a 4.5 out of 5 stars. I know I've been gushing the entire time, and it's like, well, why are you giving it 4.5? The one thing I didn't like were the little carry-on snippets in between chapters. I know it's a small aspect, but it just took me out of the story a little bit. With that being said, I think I will enjoy the full novel of Carry On, just because it'll be one story on its own and not interspersed in another story. I'm gonna have a brief spoiler section where all I do is gush about Levi. If you have not read the book yet and would like to, please feel free to click away now. Levi, he's so perfect. I love how he drove Kath home when her dad was in the hospital. I loved how she would read to him because he had trouble reading. I loved how he would just stand up for Kath, and even when Kath was being moody and kind of rude, he would still always be there. He's just a very great character. Throughout the entire time, I'm like, dude, how do you have so much patience? Like, teach me your ways, I don't understand. Again, he was a very well-written character. I really enjoyed this book. If you have read Fangirl or have any questions or opinions about Fangirl, please let me know down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see you soon with a new video.